HQ.
It is.
Right?
Welcome to HQ. Yeah, exactly. HQ2.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in our new makeshift studio. Got some plants going on. We've got a TV and a nice little emblem behind us.
Everybody else around here, and they're not listening to us at all.
No, exactly.
At all.
So,
Yeah.
big week. Big week in.
I can't say I really.
I mean,
noticed if anything
everyone already
monumental
knows your opinion, obviously,
Right,
as
right.
always. But it's good to have an opportunity to discuss some college stuff.
Well, it's funny. It's a good opportunity to talk about the fact that I might have an opinion, but other people have like a legitimate argument or something like that, and there's nothing wrong in that. You know, I say to a lot of people, you may be right. You know, I may be wrong. So
You're wrong.
no,
No way.
I didn't say that. I said I may be.
We'll
wrong.
edit that bit out.
I may
we're,
be
we're not
wrong.
live, right? Alex Goff may
Yeah,
be wrong. You
maybe.
heard it here first.
Could be.
Well, let's before we get into that, because we could talk about that for hours. As is tradition for the last 2 months, can we talk about Rugby Europe
Yes.
in Spain? Because although this debacle probably should have ended a long time ago, it continues. I mean, the update being basically they've now banned some Spanish players
Like a third of them.
for a total of about 110 weeks or something like that for pushing / intimidating the referee at the end of the game, which is, I mean, is fair, right?
Sure.
I think.
No,
I mean,
sure.
I don't know if anyone actually touched him, but certainly it was intimidating.
Well,
Right.
you don't have to touch it, right? You can lean over and
Yeah.
there's a certain captain of a certain rugby team that wears black who probably should have gotten a sanction at the end of the British Alliance game for doing the same thing, which is looming over the ref and like walking into his space. But I can see when 6 or 7 or 8 guys do that, it's a big deal.
It is, and it was disgraceful. It wasn't a way to act. I understand why they did, but they've been banned. But more importantly, there's still no solution, or still no idea what's going on with who's qualified for the World Cup, who's playing the USA in June. We don't know that either.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me, right? I keep calling out. So the Eagles are going to play a game against Russia or Germany or I don't know, Belgium, Andorra. And we'll take Andorra at this point, right?
Why is it they're playing whoever didn't qualify? What's the reason? Do we know?
I actually think I may be wrong. I think they're playing whoever did qualify because USA is qualified. The qualifying teams, then once they're done with that, they don't have anybody to play. All the other people are working on.
So it's whoever qualified as Europe 2, not Georgia, obviously, who qualified.
Right.
But I thought they were playing Russia.
Yeah.
But Russia won't qualify regardless.
Or Germany. Germany was on the slate as well. So
I don't know. They're playing someone. Maybe Russia, maybe Spain, maybe Romania.
Maybe. Romania would be
on
good.
June the 9th?
Yes.
June the 9th.
In Denver.
Okay. So anyway, World Rugby's got involved. April 5th they came out, which is a while ago, and we haven't heard anything since really, but World Rugby got involved and said, right, we're doing a proper investigation, we're going to look at this and we're going to make a decision.
And then what are they going to replay it? When are they going to replay it?
Do we have a day count of when this
whole
whole thing started to
Someone
to
say
now?
something? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Do we have a
Where are they?
It's the voice in your head.
Yeah.
So this happened in the February-March window.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same time as Six Nations.
Right, so it's been...
Well, it was the end of that, so it was the start of March, middle of March?
So it's
It's almost
2 months.
May.
Right.
Yeah,
almost
I mean,
2 months.
it's in any situation like this, I suppose the thing is you've got to get it right, but why does it take this long?
Well, there's the jurisdiction thing, right? So everyone's saying, World Rugby, you should have been looking more closely at Rugby Europe and not just passing the buck. So it took a while for Rugby Europe to dilly-dally, and then World Rugby comes in
Dilly-dally they have,
yeah,
indeed.
Yeah, so.
But they've all dilly-dallied, and I know then there was the problem of eligibility as well.
Well, yeah. So
which complicates matters.
Are you going to then say, let's strike out that game, and Spain has qualified, but wait, we've banned half their players, and the other half are ineligible, so we start over. I don't envy them.
What do you think they should? What do you think should do? I mean, it's pretty obvious. Not saying that the ref did it on purpose, but it's pretty obvious it was very poor refereeing. And so we know that.
Yeah, yeah.
The thing at the end is that doesn't make a difference. They got banned, but it doesn't make a difference to the result. That shouldn't impact it. The eligibility, let's assume Spain were eligible. If they are eligible, if they have eligible players, and Romania had eligible players, like everyone was eligible, what would you do?
I want something decided on the field. Something to happen.
So get Romania to play Spain. I mean, that seems like the fairest thing.
Get Romania to play
one-off
Spain.
game.
Right.
Whoever wins goes to World Cup.
Right. Rather than, if you're going to sit there and say we strike that result, or because you did something wrong, we're going to move up. You've invented a win or a loss that didn't happen. Let's decide something on the field.
That seems like the fairest way to do it. Is that even a possibility though? Because I know the possibility is replay the Spain-Belgium game.
Yeah. It has to be done in June though. I mean, there's the whole window thing, the player availability. Most of Romanian teams and Spanish players are on pro teams either in their home countries or in France.
And Spain aren't going to want to play Romania, especially with a load of players banned.
No.
Because they're going to get pumped.
Yeah. But it'd be decided on the field.
It would be decided on the field. And then they're going to say, but our players weren't banned when we played Belgium, and we were playing Belgium, we did all the hard work. We beat, they beat Romania, they beat Russia, and we only had to beat Belgium, and then we got screwed out of that, so it's not fair.
Yeah, they'll say that. But it would be nice to see a game somewhere along the lines.
It would. Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Maybe make the band start after that game.
Maybe let's wait until the World Cup and just flip a coin when we get there.
Have a World Cup play-in game, like a week before the World Cup starts. These two have to show up, play it, and one of them goes home.
Or do like the Trojans and stuff did. Like pick your best player, and then just have a fight. Just send one out.
Achilles versus Hector.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Love it.
I think.
What about a round robin rock paper scissors?
I actually think that'd probably be fairer. Than
Given the
what's
circumstances, that might be more fair.
Although, who's going to adjudicate the rock paper scissors? Is my question. Is it going to be?
Is it going to be a Romanian, a Spaniard,
or a Spaniard, or I mean, who?
A Belgian. It has to be a Belgian.
Yeah, it has to be a Belgian. And which rules do you go with? And is it 1, 2, 3, or is it 1, 2, 3, go?
Right.
I mean, and is there cultural differences so that you know?
Have you ever done a full body
scissors?
rock paper scissors?
No.
Right.
And I don't want to do it with you.
Hunter, tiger, lady. Right. You just bounce, and then you're the hunter, the tiger, or the lady. Right?
Can you show me that last one again?
The lady. Yes. So the lady distracts the hunter.
Have you ever heard of this?
I've never heard of this.
This is a rugby thing.
It's not.
A rugby guy.
It's a rugby
guy
thing.
taught me this. As they used to do this in.
Are you sure he was a rugby guy?
Yeah, John Tyler taught me that, and he was like an all-star coach in Northern California.
So wait, how does it go?
Right. So hunter shoots the tiger. Right.
Yeah.
Tiger eats the lady, and the lady distracts the hunter.
Oh, so what was your favorite one? They make you go for lady every time.
Well, if I can make you just dissolve in laughter like that, I'd win anyway. No problem.
Okay, right. Well, anyway,
we should move on.
Let's move on from that. That's a scary thought. So other European rugby, just to touch on it, it was the EPCR semi-finals on the weekend, and the final will be Racing 92 versus Leinster.
Nice.
Did you see any of these games?
No.
Well, I did watch some of it.
Sorry.
Leinster absolutely thrashed the Scarlets, who have been really good all year. And to the point that now people are saying if Leinster's current team played the All Blacks, that Leinster would probably beat the All Blacks.
Nice.
And ironically, Stuart Lancaster is Leinster's coach now.
Oh, that's good.
Who obviously was completely destroyed in the World Cup.
But is it a system? I mean, Ireland usually has a team in the final European Cup, right? The Irish national team is one of the best in the world right now. Is it that the way they have the All Ireland League, they've got a league, and then they funnel up to the provincial teams? Yeah,
well, they're essentially contracted players, right? So, and it's the Wales do it as well, but it means that it's very smart. New Zealand do it. Maybe that's saying something. New Zealand and Ireland are both doing it. but basically means that they can protect their players, but also they go play at certain teams and they can keep them within Ireland.
Right.
You know that Irish players, if you play in Ireland, you get really big tax breaks as well.
Oh, well, that helps.
Like it really benefits
Yeah,
you to play
sure,
in Ireland
sure.
if you're, which is how they keep most in that.
Well, no, it's great. And then the concentration of talent. And one of the struggles we have in American club rugby is we've spread these players all over the place, and we say you're playing at the very highest level, and said, yeah, and there's 15, 20 teams. And it's like, how are we getting the very best against the very best? And I worry about Major League Rugby expanding so much that we're thin on the ground in terms of talent level.
Maybe what they should do is give all rugby players in America, if you play rugby, you get a tax break. Do you think?
Sure.
Well, if this could happen, if Mark Cuban becomes president, which may happen, then he likes rugby. We could ask him to give all rugby players tax breaks. Loads of people start playing rugby, and America will become a force in rugby.
I think we need to dedicate ourselves to that plan.
We should start a petition.
Right. Petition the IRS.
Flow Rugby petition for tax breaks for rugby players.
Right.
Get him on the
back to
horn.
playing.
Actually, we could probably drive up to Dallas, and if he's in Dallas, but
He is in Dallas.
All right.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I know this.
Let's do it.
Most of the time. Okay, so Rugby Europe, EPCR. The final, I think, is this weekend or the weekend after. Leinster against Racing 92. Dan Carter's last game for Racing 92 before he goes to Japan. And I don't know. It's going to be an awesome game. It's actually a really good advert for European rugby.
Oh, I mean, Racing is great. A lot of fun to watch, right? And they're kind of a little bit more of an open team than Leinster, but it's a little bit of a clash of contrast. But loving it. I'll watch it.
You will watch that
I
one.
will watch
you will watch that
I
one.
will watch the
yeah,
final.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So let's get into American stuff then. Two big things to talk about. One being the MLR, obviously.
Sure.
Started at the weekend. Very, very exciting for everyone involved and everyone in the US, really. Some big scores, no upsets really, but you were sort of surprised Seattle with no coach managed to bring it home.
They had the big coaching change, and then it's like, they're player coached. But I actually, I've interviewed Phil Mack a few times, the Canadian scrum half, who is the player of the week and their player coach. He's an enormously smart rugby guy, and knows his stuff inside and out. So he's a capable guy, and I think he's the kind of guy. He's like 5'6". He's not big, but he's able to get these big lummoxes around and say, we're going to go this direction. And he was like that as a captain of Canada, and I'm not surprised really in the end that he does that with the Seawolves.
Yeah, and their scrum just destroyed San Diego, who obviously got an awesome backline, but if you're not going forward, if you've got no front foot ball, what can you do?
It's not like they've got mega stars in that pack. I mean, Barkwell at hooker, he's kind of a star, right? But Kellen Gordon was mostly like a loose forward at Central Washington. They've got him playing prop, and Lennertz is out of Central Washington, like he's just out of Central Washington. He's a new guy at second row. It's not like you're like, oh, I know that guy and that guy and that guy. Wow. And so it's all about like unity of purpose. I guess it's the same thing. Right?
So I know nothing about a scrum at all, which is surprising. I know, given the size of me.
It's about unity of purpose.
Unity of purpose.
You cannot be close enough, right? Just closer, tight, and then.
There you go. Technique. I did watch some of the Austin. I know. It's
You've been in the scrum more recently than I have.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. He's had some good feedback from Chris Bowen in the past.
Nice.
Yeah. Didn't
tight head.
Mistook him for someone else, but it's easily done.
It's still
it's
advice.
easily done.
Take the advice.
It's that recognizable face.
The Austin. I did watch the Austin Elite game, or some of the Austin Elite against Glendale. It was interesting because Glendale came out as everyone expecting, like come out all guns firing. First half they just destroyed Austin. Yeah. But in the second half, Austin came back and they put Clever on. He came on for Pedri, and I think Pedri came off injured. And then Hanko just started to I think Hanko was just like, all right, screw this, give me the ball.
Yeah.
He scored one try
Let's make
where he
something
ran
happen.
from almost halfway line and just ran straight through the Glendale back line, essentially. So it was promising because Austin have not done great in pre-season. They haven't had many games. You know, I think that they've obviously struggled a little bit. They've got a lot of injuries already. But it was promising to see them come back, score 26 points, and I think, you know, if the game had gone on, it could have been a different result. But Glendale are always going to be. I mean, they're still going to be favourites, right? I mean,
They're pretty polished.
They're strong.
I mean, they played a lot together over time.
Well, that's
right?
the key
Over
thing,
years,
right? It's not like they've just brought in a load of big name players. It's just these guys have been playing together for a while, so they know each other. Unity of purpose, as you were saying.
Yeah. We
What's
lost our
going on
logo. We lost our logo.
It's back.
Oh, now it came back.
We missed the miss pass for a second. And then the Nola Gold Sabercats game, Nola Gold have been just improving. And they eventually came. They've played Sabercats 3 times now, and they eventually come through and beat them. And
everyone's talking about the Sabercats overcooked because they played so many.
They've played like 11 games or something already.
Yeah.
And I don't know, one game, fine, but they still have stuff to work on, right? You know,
Yeah,
seems like it.
well, of course, and their squad size isn't. None of these squad sizes are huge, so there's going to be, they're going to get injuries as everyone does. But
Who did you like on Nola?
well, unfortunately, my big friend Vince Jobo, who I played with last year, has snapped his Achilles. So he was.
Not good.
It was a shame. But JP Eloff, I think, got on the team of the week.
He's a special talent.
Yeah.
He's been around for a while. He's been capped and stuff, and when Davenport was great, he was on that team. But we can't forget about him. Right?
Yeah.
He's somebody who's able to play 10, 12, 15 like that. He's special talent.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Let's talk about the elephant in the room then. Not you, Mike. Hey.
Guys got jokes.
The fact that every D1 Elite women's game in the quarterfinals was a shutout, we could talk about that.
Yeah, that's true. That's a shame.
That's bad.
But
Good. A shutout, every single one.
100-0, 133-0.
Yeah.
I think, what was it? The closest one was 57-0.
57-0 was your
Yeah.
closest quarterfinal.
Who was that?
Yeah, that was, I got it in front of me, Virginia losing to Penn State.
Penn State.
And
Yeah.
Penn State's, but 92-0, 71-0, 100-0. The big ones were the round before, 154 and 133. So, yeah.
Well, that's the state of
problem.
women's rugby right
It's a
now,
problem.
isn't it? Like, there's some teams that are doing really well and then nothing else.
Yeah. But that's not what you meant.
That's not what I meant by the elephant in the room. So, we know you've voiced your opinion a little bit, which is good, as everyone I think in rugby or has ever spoken about rugby has done this week.
Sure.
It's an interesting one, right? Because this is like, what's more important? Is it short term or long term? Is it the integrity of a bracket, or is it the health of a league? And
Right. Right.
I'm told that before this was decided, 3 of the 4 teams were happy with the decision.
Yeah.
Which
Yes.
makes
they were.
sense, except, I don't know, Penn State, they're going to go to life expecting to lose. They would have been playing Lindenwood with a chance.
They are going to save money. They're okay with it. I guess there's the idea of you're going to have to beat somebody to get there. So.
That's what it comes down to as well, right? Everyone's been in tournaments, or you've been, even when you're a fan of a team, it's like, if you're going to win, you got to beat everyone.
Right.
Well, not everyone. You got to win 2 games, right? If you're in the semi-finals, you got to win 2 games. So, yes, of course, you don't want to play Cal or Life if you have the opportunity to play someone who's probably slightly easier.
I don't know if it's playing Cal that bothered Lindenwood voted against it.
Yeah.
Lindenwood was like,
which is ironic. They're the only team that nothing changes.
Right, that's true.
In terms of travel plans.
But the term used and how they felt about it was they went nuclear. They are not happy. But it's partly about scouting what team you're going to play, but I think it's also that they took a neutral game and made it a home game.
But they didn't scout a team. Like they didn't know they didn't know.
No, that's true.
I mean,
you knew it was going to be one.
College
of the
teams
other,
that professional, they're scouting teams ahead of like getting through to that round. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're actually doing the homework.
I judging from how many people call me and say, "Who do you think we're going to be playing, and who are we going to play next week?" and they kind of do.
But then they should have been scouting all of these teams because they may play with them in the final.
True, very true. But
So-
it changes to a de facto home game for Cal, and I think that's what bothered them. I think sometimes, you know how people are, they don't like surprises. Now, if
It's still less of a home game if they're playing St. Mary's.
right,
So it's
right.
still
They
improved.
already went through that. They already beat St. Mary's.
Yeah, they beat St. Mary's at home. Now they're playing Cal away but at home. And so if they can beat St. Mary's, they can beat Cal.
I think so.
Because St. Mary's beat Cal.
I do think so.
I mean, I know there was a lot of injuries to St. Mary's.
It was a different St. Mary's team to a certain extent. It's a different Cal team because they're just a few weeks better.
Yeah.
But they just got past Navy. Navy's really good, but they're not that good. I'd be surprised if Navy could beat Lindenwood. I don't know. It's just like it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great.
And that's the thing,
matchup.
right? It
It's
is going to be an
phenomenal.
awesome game because Lindenwood, if I was on that team, I'd be coming out absolutely firing.
Oh, sure.
Saying, and you know what Josh Macy's going to be saying? You know, is like, screw these guys. Everyone's trying to get it over on you. You know, go show them what we're about. And Josh, I'm available for team talks if you would like. But you know, Lindenwood are going to come out absolutely firing, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they put in a great performance and beat them. Even if Cal have got, I mean, what's the maximum amount of people are going to have there? A couple of thousand?
That's an interesting question as to how many would they have. I mean, they could have a few thousand for
Yeah.
sure. But what happens if they come up? It's 300.
Yeah.
Then I mean, the argument about the crowd kind of falls
we
flat.
know that. So, I mean, the committee, the good people. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone genuinely. Well, there are people that I don't think either of us believe that this was done to give Cal an advantage.
not at all.
Like, I don't see why that would be the case.
I feel like I could say with 100% conviction that it was sort of an accidental side effect that Cal got.
It was the result of bad planning at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Because they made a bet, and this is what's happened. You know, as rugby becomes more professional and becomes more mainstream, and you know, it just becomes more important, I suppose. Like, you can't just make a bet that St. Mary's or Life are gonna win. And I know that they've got decent venues, but and part of the reason for this is actually all the reason is revenue. Like, they chose two venues, which seemed strange to start with, given the production costs for like linear TV as well as anything. To do two venues seems a strange thing, but we know that D1A need revenue, and they thought that is going to maximize revenue by getting as many gate receipts as possible. So it starts with money and it ends with money, right?
Absolutely.
And so
For those of you at home, linear TV is a term of art that means TV, as opposed to the thing that a lot of other people do, which is streaming TV. I learned that like 3 weeks ago. I never used that term. Anyway, you use that term all the time.
old school TV, basically.
Hey,
Old
before
school
we
TV.
move on from the butts in the seats, Lindenwood beat St. Mary's, as everybody knows, and now they're going back to St. Mary's.
Right.
Do the Gale players sit in the stands and watch the game and support rugby as a whole? Does their coach say you got to go to the game? Does D1A ask them to go to the game? What happens here? That's very interesting.
I'm pretty sure I know where the coach is going to be, and because
In a bar.
there's Northern California high school playoffs that weekend, and I'm pretty sure he's going to go watch some high school players. That's what I would do. But in terms of the players,
Is it too soon?
who would they be cheering for? St. Mary's players. Who would they be cheering for?
There's not a chance that many St. Mary's players are going to be in those stands.
If they go, they'll be
Because they
cheering
also
for
have to pay
Lindenwood.
$10 to get in.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure they know somebody. They can get around that.
I think St.
Climb
Mary's
over
should.
the
I think
fence.
St. Mary's should raise the ticket price for the Cal people. But if St. Mary's players go there, they're cheering for Lindenwood.
Yeah, I would
Cheering
feel.
for Lindenwood. There's too much of a rivalry with Cal.
Yeah.
For them.
I wouldn't expect that many players would be there. I mean, if you lose last week, you're going to turn up.
It is a long season.
You're going to be down the mall, hanging out, or whatever the kids do these
probably
days.
playing
Fortnite in their rooms.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's probably a game where they can go to the mall in the game.
There probably is. So it starts with money, it ends with money. There was an interesting tweet, Facebook message, something from Mason Herring yesterday, was it, Mike?
Yeah, well, I saw it yesterday. I don't know when it was posted.
And he said what?
He said that hopefully the people that are complaining about the bracket changes are not the same people that were complaining about the fiscal irresponsibility in previous years.
Right. So I think this is an interesting, very well put point by Mason, who is the head coach of Baylor, in case anyone doesn't know, which is, this hasn't been done to give Cal an advantage. This has actually been done for the good of, in their opinion, for the good of the D1A conference and for the future, and to save significant amounts of money. And I think it was also probably done in a very quick, well, it was done very quickly. And there's probably a better solution. For example, everyone playing at Life and save the money on production and give that to the teams to travel there.
They were going to spend a certain amount of money anyway. I think it's 40 grand or something on helping people travel. That was going to be spent. So the money they're saving is saving for the teams. It's the overage, which is good. An idea was presented to me about the idea of teams, when they say they're going to be in the playoffs, also putting a bid for a venue and say, for example, Notre Dame College might say, maybe our on-campus venue is not ideal for the big-time production, but we've secured an ability to go to Obetz or someplace in Ohio, and that's where we'd have the final or the semifinal. And the same, this would be our venue, and we can book it, and you get that. The thing that I would say about it is not about whether it was the right or wrong decision. Is that I'm told this was brought up before, that it was brought up at meetings. It wasn't really put down in writing, but what they put down in writing was, we reserve the right to change the seatings, and in the interest of reducing costs or helping television.
It was just like the small print in any contract.
Yes, right. And it's
we reserve the right to do what the hell we want, by the way.
And then when they came out and said it, they did a whole United World Sports thing, which is they said, this was always planned that we were going to do this way. It's like, I hate that term, it was always. What it means is we didn't tell you, we didn't warn you. By the way, we just blindsided you with it, and now we're going to say, but we were going to do that anyway, and you shouldn't be upset. If they had told us at the beginning that, by the way, there's a chance that we're going to shuffle the semifinals because of television, forget about anything else, or because of reducing costs, and that was the only reason. If they had told us that at the beginning, like in March, I think we'd be fine with it. I think people would be expecting it. The NHL does this. The NHL reseeds after a round, so if seeds 1, 2, and 3 all lose, and seed 4 wins in the NHL playoffs,
There comes seed 1.
They're now seeded 1. And if that means they move into a different part of the bracket to play 8, that's what happens.
Well, that's interesting.
But
that's planned beforehand.
Everybody knows
and it depends on your results. And it's done for a reason, which is like to get the best, to try and get the best 2 teams in the final, right? I mean, that's the purpose of all that stuff, right? This is kind of done for that reason, or it seems like it's done for that reason, but it's actually not been done for that reason. It's done because rugby is still, a club sport with very limited funds, and either can you have it always? Can you complain about the fiscal responsibility of the league and the fact there's no money and all this kind of stuff, and at the same time, when there's an opportunity to save tens of thousands of dollars, freak out because, oh no, it's the integrity of the bracket. See, we people saying, oh, well, what if March Madness did that? How is that a good comparison?
Yeah, well,
how is that a good comparison? March Madness with those millions of dollars.
Everybody here thinks it's a lousy idea to change brackets, but I get it. And the one thing that's sort of unspoken, I think, about this is Life versus Cal is gold for a final.
Yeah.
I mean, for Life, the Life alumni following is massive, and Cal's alumni following is massive. In terms of people following it from those schools, it's about as good as you're going to get. Cal BYU is a great game as well. Life versus Cal is possibly one of their best scenarios. So now we have a chance rather than having it be the semifinal.
But that's not the reason, Alex.
Of course it's not the reason.
Here's my opinion, right? So if you're going to take the side of Lindenwood fans are angry about this because they think now they've been given a harder game against Cal, and put aside that now it's essentially a home game for Cal, right? Is Penn State really that much of an easier game for Lindenwood than Cal? I mean, if it is, it's not very much. They're very close.
Penn State beat BYU at BYU without one of their better players who had been red carded and was on suspension. Brian Stella.
I mean,
so yeah,
they're very. I don't think you can make an argument, but in my opinion, I think they're pretty level as far as who Lindenwood would play.
There's no guarantee that Lindenwood beats Penn State, for sure.
No.
Would you kind of be pissed off a little bit if you're Penn State? You'd be like, everyone's bitching about this is a harder thing and everything. It's like, hold on, we wouldn't beat Lindenwood anyway. Like, screw you guys. We're happy to go to Life. We'll beat Life.
Right, exactly.
I would love if Penn State won it. Like, not just this weekend, and won the whole thing. That'd be awesome. Because then Penn State, just like, no one's really talking about them. They've kind of been, by the sounds of it, like, okay, yeah, we'll do that, whatever. Maybe that wasn't the case.
Not only that, I mean, in recent years, they've gone through a lot of coaching turnover. The players have been the leaders on the team. And we got, Alex, I think separately, we got the chance to talk to some of those players, and they just lead by example.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no better,
Malcolm May, Ryan McNulty, Robbie Romescu, those guys have taken the team sort of on their shoulders and done a bang-up job, terrific job. Romescu scores the winner at the death, gets them into the semi. This has already been the greatest playoff we've had in years because of these things and the upsets and everything like that. And
here's the other thing, and I've said this to a few people, is almost the best thing that's happened is this, right? Because everyone's talking about it, right?
Yeah.
You have to be controversial sometimes. You have to, do unexpected things. And yes, okay, people aren't happy, but there's a hell of a lot of engagement and conversation online about D1A rugby, and hopefully that's going to elevate.
How many more people are going to watch to see what happens now because they can go, see, we told you.
I mean, this is something we talk about all the time at Flow Sports. Like, people need to have the context. There needs to be a storyline. There needs to be heroes. There needs to be villains. Cal right now are the villain, right? If Lindenwood beat Cal, they're the heroes. Everyone's going to be behind them. Penn State could be the dark horse. Like, this is how great stories are made.
Lindenwood were the villains not that long ago with their behavior on the field, and everyone's like, and the new sort of angry upstarts who also perhaps push the boundaries of the laws and stuff like that. And now they're the underdogs, put upon.
So who you got?
I say Lindenwood and Life win.
Lindenwood and Life.
They're going to go meet each other for the third time, and who knows?
Mike?
A Mid-South final sounds all well and good. I'm going Lindenwood, Penn State.
Wow. Okay, upsets everywhere.
Hey, keep the trend going.
Yeah, I genuinely, as I said, I would love Penn State to win. I think it's going to be tough. Life seems to just be on the, just a train that's not able to be stopped. So I'm probably going to go with Life, although I'll secretly be hoping for not. I'm sick of being wrong, so I'm going to go for Life. I'm always wrong. I always go with my heart, and then it's like so Life. And I think Lindenwood could do it. Okay. I think so, because I think they'll come out firing. I think they'll play the best game they played all season. So
if we do get Life Cal, it's the two best props in college rugby going up against each other, tight head, loose head, with Alex Mott and Kevin Sullivan. So that'll be fun. Just the bash and the scrum.
Some scrum porn.
Very much so.
Hold on, so I just
want
to reiterate this. None of us chose Cal to win.
No, nobody chose Cal to win. So now
Do you think that's because
now-
we all see them as the villain?
maybe I don't know. Maybe Cal suddenly becomes the browbeaten underdog, and everything switches. Sorry, Cal.
That's it is interesting. We'll probably all be wrong.
I just think for the reason I chose Lindenwood, right, is Lindenwood going to St. Mary's. Lindenwood has nothing to lose if they win or lose. Like if they lose, right? St. Mary's had everything to lose. They were the #1 seed, and now I think it's almost the same story where everybody's like, what does Lindenwood have to do?
Yeah.
And they got nothing to lose. They're going to go out and play.
Yeah,
their
the
best
first thing
rugby.
everyone says when Lindenwood win is, St. Mary's had loads of injuries. It's like, that's true.
right.
But that's the same in
But the game was played and the result was had.
Yep, and on hostile territory.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
All right.
So we'll be back next week, and hopefully
This is cool.
just to talk about rugby
Yeah,
and no
yeah.
politics or anything.
No,
but
no.
we
get
may
to
be
do it
here.
here?
I
I
think we'll
like
be here.
this. I think this is
maybe.
this
I don't
is
know.
fun.
We'll see if we
Everyone's
allow
fun to
Michael back on camera
Yeah.
once he sorts out, gets his eyebrows plucked and
Yeah.
gives himself a little shave and stuff like that.
It's a process.
Anyway, well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.